Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Porque toques el cielo, pero no el suelo, así que créetelo. Quítate el velo velozmente, bro. Vívete tu sueño, pero despierta a la hora que toca. Esa hora, motherfucker, wake up.
Yo me meo en tu cubata antes. Bebo matar ratas con tan. Voy al bosque a lo tarzán mientras enlazan. Fraternidad en casa con su polo Hollister a estrenar. Se han dejado en el desván de su pensar un mar de ideas. Con grandes ideas ardiendo en chimeneas antiguas. Ríe Dios al ver que te santiguas. Su mente y su luz son ambiguas como mi voz. Lo que para ti es un don, para mí una misión fija. Mis versos son de ninja. Tu poesía pa' fijas que no te fijan. Que hay más allá del cristal.
La matriz hipnotiza.
Mi energía usa de trizas. Yo en mi nave nodriza. Comiendo pizza con piña, moldeo toroides, córtices. Con mi mente arborescente junto con hilos para crear pegasos en nace. Pero cánticos lemurianos me hacen sentir como en mi hogar. La noche se avecina y se afilan colmillos de vampiras psíquicas. Frecuencias del malestar las alimentan. Nuestro deber es tenerlas raquíticas. Bazofias espaciales latada con la función del sol central, causando desinformaciones bíblicas. Todo lo existente es relativo, o al menos la materia que te describo. Soy antipersonas como las minas y mino. La moral del que venga a negar lo que digo con la mira pues tan ombligo. Si me retiro del partido que sea como Figo.
Conocidos en me la pela en verdad.
En mi barrio me conocen más que tú a tu enamorada. No hay payasos, solo en anémonas. Cigarcolada, Andrómeda eres.
Conserva tus células primigenias o no podrás volar. El virus se llevó a unos cuantos, pero el ego a más. Se elevó el más a la opulencia. Digo, ciencia.
Debajo y Satanás
En el espejo, Jesucristo, la conciencia del flash.
la tierra y su paz
Están vibrando, los sentimientos son la trampa que están manejando. Los hilos de los cuales tú y tu ego estáis medio colgándonos. Que yo sea un superdotado, ni tú un tonto. Solo lo que tú sabes de mierda yo sobre el cosmos.
que los tuyo y profundamente sano me lo tomo. Si no ya hubiera ido a visitar al doctor, porque no soy devoto, mucho menos un santo. Yo jamás voto, pero dale
Que asalto cuando en verdad sé que tendría que sudarme todo la polla. Pero pienso que hay que vivir por algo.
que en el letargo cure lo enfermo, sabor amargo, real
Vale.
¿Sí? ¿Te atreverías?
Ahí está. ¡Bemba! ¡Es original! ¡Kimba! Ella lo baila. ¿Quieres de mí? Origini. Todo para ti. ¡Ay, baby! Original y originini. Yo no tengo un cromo de panini. Si viene el Kimba lo reventó con el fucking altavoz. Y bien ocurreniga, estoy con el chico para soltarlo bien tranquilito. Es el Kimana, el Kimaneto, porque tiene el ritmo y esqueleto. No vi, ella no vio nada. Cuando suelto el ritmo parece en la boca nada. No soy un dragón, pero suelto llamaradas. No soy un cabrón, pero sueno que te cagas. Original y parecen bandadas de cuervos volando que viene a matar. Si quieres algo del magneto, siempre ves buscando un ritmo. Es original. Siempre suena fresco. Lo mejor me lo merezco. No tenemos parentesco, golazo te parece popescu. ¡Ey! Original, el maneta ha llegado pa' soltar los ritmos sentados. Si quieres algo bueno, pues yo vengo de un pasado. Desde lejos, hace tiempo, no soy viejo. Estoy atento, estoy contento. El entrecejo, no lo ves, escondió hace tiempo. Original representa de radio, el Netflix de Europa. Pa' venir a reventar todos los escenarios y llevarme la copa.
Un aplauso, vamos. De Easy, haceme algo ya para culminar.
Hostia puta, tío, qué bueno.
¿Te dejo ahí mismo ese? ¿O te pongo otro?
Pónmelo del principio, va.
¿El principio, este mismo? ¿O te pongo otro?
Esto está bien.
¿Este está bien? Vale. Desde el principio entonces. Ahí va, atención.
Estamos en Radio International Real. Hey, hemos vuelto a la casa del Real Netflix de Europa. Bombo claro, dice. Don't stop, everybody don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Hey, sing a boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi crew, solo tú, dame luz. Hey, sing it, badu. Don't stop, everybody don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi crew, solo tú, dame luz. Everything come through. Ooh, girl, think you better. I think you clever. Hey, stay, my fucking old nigga. Hey, girl, think you better. I think alone, my brother. Everybody come on, nego, hace radio, está fresco. Dice, mueve el cadera, mueve tremendo, suena perfecto, filo beca, suena perfecto, viene del ritmo del gueto, band the fuck international. Hey, nego, the fama no really nobody, se mueve el estilo, suena fenomenal, suena bien guapo que viene los ritmos, en radio siempre suena fenomenal, mueve cadera, mueve tremenda, ese Kimaneto, el rey de la fiesta, suena guapo, te lo digo, Zacarías, así que dale, on the free, nego.
El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Okay, I think we got this working. Hold on. I need to stop doing that. It's a bad habit. I got to get rid of it. I must get rid of it. Expensive. My bad. Let me just say what's up. Buenos dias, Jeremias. What up? There it goes again. It's an inside joke, by the way. I say buenos dias. That's it. Yeah, whatever. Good to see you here, my brother. Hope you and your family are well. I haven't talked to you in a while, man. Shoot, my bad. I think I said I was gonna call you, huh? Wow. I apologize. Anyways, for anybody that doesn't want to say what's up, it's all good. Tonight, there's several people watching, so hopefully you guys are doing well. Good night. Good night. Bye. See you later. The show's over. No, I was kidding. I'm your brother. Y'all can call me Joshua, Yoshea, or Meshi, right? Yoshea, it's almost like Hosea. Just change the H to the Y. It's technically the way it's pronounced as best as it can be in Hebrew, but again, nobody can say 100%. So in case you don't know, that's who it is. Today we have an interesting topic. Technically, this was supposed to be a topic I was going to talk about last week, but there was a bit of a hiccup. Regarding the burn in the furnace, brothers have reminded me of it. Thought it's a good point. I hadn't touched on it for 3 years, man, maybe. I think I might have mentioned it a few times 2 years ago, but it just kind of just moved on. So I grew up, making things out of clay, figurines and shit. And as I got older, I ended up dealing with clay work. I would actually make some statues and shit. I was actually good at it. And then I got into, pottery in high school, and I learned about clay and making pottery and putting it in a so-called furnace, like a really hot oven. They called it kiln, K-I-L-N. And I got to see the action, okay? So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But that's technically the essence of the class. Obviously, I'm going to bring out other points. And also, as I mentioned before, everybody that comes to the channel, you guys are welcome to contribute. What I mean is when you make a good comment or you ask a good question and it's made several times, I'm going to probably end up talking about it. So I've had a couple people tell me about how, obviously I've read it, and I say it, I read it. Yes, I think a couple days ago, brother, he asked me about, have I read this, right? His name was something Boot. Seemed kind of like, hey, hi, I don't know, man, but it was weird. Anyway, so you mentioned, have I read this? Yes, I have. Now, I want to bring this to your point because we're also going to touch on how these materials, these books, they don't just have a reflection of you, of what you went through, indigenous brothers and sisters, right? Not these fake ass wobbles, none of that shit. Not these foreigners, not these Anglos, you know what I'm saying? Not Edomites and all that stuff. No. Officially, what you've been through. But in case you don't know, that stuff is also said in the Bible. So we're gonna actually touch on a little bit of scriptures today. I haven't done a class on pure scriptures in a while. I think today will be that day because I do have something to show you. It's important, and it should mean everything to you. You see, our history is written all over this place, right? And this Bible, sorry. And when you look into the details of specific verses, and then you look at your own history, you start realizing, man, there's a lot of similarities in this, right? So we're going to read Ezekiel 23:25, and it says, I will set my jealousy against thee, and they shall deal furiously with thee. So this is, our Creator getting upset at his clay. You'll get the point. So he'll deal furiously with thee, you that are made out of clay. They shall take away thy nose and thine ears. So he is going to send people that are going to come here with weapons that you probably never seen, no more likely never seen, obviously iron, and chop off your noses and your ears. And thy remnant shall fall by the sword. And this is going to be obviously an astonishment. They shall take thy sons and thy daughters, and thy residue shall be devoured by the fire. So in this book, and I have to speed it up because it's PDF and it's slow. At the end of this book, you have here, I'll show you real quick. Like after the after this here, the index, you go to native peoples, you go all the way to the back. So I'm going to point this out because we just read something that should matter to you. Okay? It should matter to you. The point is, they shall take away thy nose and thine ears. See, when these Spaniards, invaders, I should say, and it wasn't just white people, they were also black, they were also Sephardic Jews, they were also, I guess you could say, Islamic or Arabic, because that's also true. All the stuff that's going on right now, it's clear that payback's a bitch. Somebody's gonna lose, right? But then they also will too. Like they all had their hand in this particular, cookie jar here that we call America. So here's the similarity, and I always try to look for, facts, not feelings. Here we see pictures of the atrocities that our people went through. Now it says here, with my own eyes, I saw Spaniards cut off the nose, hands, and ears of Indians. Male and female, without provocation, merely because it pleased them to do it. And it says here, Ezekiel 23:25, and I will set my jealousy against thee. That's the only way things happen, is if the Creator allows it. That's basically what he's saying. And they shall deal furiously with thee. Who he is going to send. And these people, shall take away thy nose and thine ears. With my own eyes I saw Spaniards cut off the nose, hands, and ears of Indians, male and female, without provocation, merely because it pleased them to do it. Because I felt like it, man, because I thought it was cool, bro. Because it was not a problem for me to do it. Because you have this spirit of, I don't know, man. Here, I'll let the video speak for itself. Like, I got this video here, and I was amazed at the eyes of this Edomite, son of Esau. And, they were
and
shit that they did at Doge. And, this is where I guess they cut off a lot of people's benefits, yada, 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 right? Hey, bro, good to have you here. So they're asking him, and remember, keep in mind, this is for this purpose, right? Without provocation, merely because it pleased them to do it. So there is something in these people that's wicked as fuck. Okay, watch what they asked this kid, and just like that, he's just like, I don't care. I don't care if they suffer.
Each of those grants funded projects, real projects by real people, kind of working on scholarly works. Some of those funds were used to pay for housing and to generally further their work. Now those funds are gone. Does that make you feel anything in particular?
Objection. No.
The guy had said, housing and stuff like that, right? He said they were legitimate programs. They were legitimate programs, not just, made up easy spending programs. No. They were legitimate, you know what I mean? They were for a purpose. What does this lack of spirit individual say?
Objection. No.
You don't regret that people might have lost important income to support their lives?
Objection.
No. I think it was more important to reduce the federal deficit from $2 trillion to close to zero.
You see that? It's all about the money, yo. I don't know why I keep saying to you guys, you nations from afar that are here illegally, but it's okay. Right? But you're here illegally. Blindly illegal, yet you want to call us that. Okay, fine. Did it ever occur to you that this continent has been given you all in abundance, and yet even then you're still greedy with your own people, let alone us.
Did you reduce the federal deficit?
No, we didn't.
So they didn't do shit. He didn't care about people, and they didn't do shit anyways about it. So it says here in the American Holocaust, regarding the spirit of these people, if this man, I guess you could say, I believe it, honestly, it's my opinion, but if it was like really, really like crazy ass times and he had the power to cut off your nose and your ears, I think he would do it for the sake of deficit. With my own eyes, I saw Spaniards cut off the nose, hands, and ears of Indians, male and female, without provocation, merely because it pleased them to do it. Likewise, I saw how they summoned the caciques and their chief rulers to come assure them safety. And when they peacefully came, they were taken captive and burned. You know, that reminds me, and I wish I would have had that. I might have that picture. I don't even know, to be honest with you. But there was this guy reporting that, okay, here it goes. Watch. Oh, my God. You fuckers don't change, bro. Seriously, man. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? It's just the type of spirit you guys have. Here we see, check this out. Okay, so let me read this again. Likewise, I saw how they summoned the caciques and their chief rulers to come, assuring them safety. And when they peacefully came, they were taken captive and burned. All right? So keep that in mind. Now, check this out. This is from, like, I guess X, Twitter, whatever. Angelica reposts what Al Jazeera English said, right? So it says, the American negotiated a ceasefire to get the American soldiers out of their base, okay? So it's like you and I, Jeremias, or you and I, Edom needs to go, right? We agree, hey, yo, we're going to chill out right now. You know, you can't throw shit at me. I'm not going to throw shit at you, okay? Deal. All right. As soon as the last contractor was out, they airstriked and killed the commander they negotiated with. Who fucking does that, bro? What kind of mentality do you have? You know, they say that supposedly. I mean, that's psychopathic. Like I always said, bro, straight up. I don't give a fuck what you guys say. They told me, well, how did you decipher, you know, Gringolandians and shit, right? Anglos, Cracker Barrels, Sons of Esau. All you got to do is watch all those serial killer movies. That's it. Just watch how serial killers move. Like, for example, Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer did not seem threatening, looked like a generic individual, but he was so fucking mental, bro. You understand what I mean? And all you got to do is just kind of put them in that kind of category and shit, and then determine what level of mental they are at. I'm telling you. Think I'm lying, bro? Trust me, that's how you can understand them. That's why I never understood, like, okay, well, whatever. I can go long-winded on that. But again, then it says on the bottom, Iraqi officials endorsed a National Security Council decision granting paramilitary groups the right to respond after a suspected U.S. strike in Anbar killed 15 people. So now this is you saying to them, no, we're cool, bro. Let me just, you know, whatever. But then right after that, I bomb your ass. This is why these people are now wanting to respond. This is no different. This is no different, absolutely no different. You guys may think, no, it's no different, man. Let me get this real quick. I got this video I found. I had done it a while ago, to be honest with you. And I think it makes sense to bring it up right now, too. All right? Just a few minutes. Let's go.
So now we're putting a $1,000 bounty on the heads of Mexicans. That's what we're doing? I guess that's what they meant by Make America Great Again. Taking us back to a time when Mexicans in this country were treated with less respect and dignity than a dog. For those of you that don't know, this Republican senator here just proposed a Senate bill, SB 72, that puts a virtual bounty on the heads of Mexicans to be awarded to anyone that turns in what they call an illegal alien once arrested. I guess he took to heart Trump's words on immigration, when he said that immigrants are poisoning the blood of this country. The blood of this country? Really? You want to talk about the blood of this country while ignoring the blood on the hands of this country? The indigenous blood that soaks the very land on which this country was built? You don't want to go there. And for you coconuts that are going to jump into the comment section saying, well, they should just come here legally, it has nothing to do with the legality or illegality of those that come here. Have you not heard of the Trump administration's denaturalization policy that calls for the stripping of citizenship of those that actually followed procedure? And it doesn't just allow for the deportation of those that put misinformation on their paperwork. It allows for the denaturalization and deportation based on clerical errors, something they had no control over. They're just looking for a reason to come for our people. You know, both my father and grandfather were here in the United States during the Mexican repartition and Operation Wetback. And when I heard of these things, I thought, man, sure, that was rough. I'm glad things have changed for the better. I guess what they say is true. The more things change, the more things stay the same. Once upon a time, they called our ancestors subhuman and savages. Today, they call us criminals and illegals. The terminology has changed, but the view from down here hasn't.
Good Friday evening and welcome. We begin tonight with that joint investigation by Scripps News and the Center for Public Integrity. It involves thousands of migrant children who might have disappeared from the system altogether. It is a troubling finding when you consider record numbers of migrants continue to pour across the U.S.-Mexico border. Many are children and many of them are alone. The Biden administration puts them.
You see, and again, it goes back to the the verse, Ezekiel 23:25. I will set my jealousy against thee, and they shall deal furiously with thee. They shall take away thy nose and thine ears. We covered that already enough. And thy remnant shall fall by the sword. They shall take thy sons and thy daughters. They shall take thy sons and thy daughters, and thy residue shall be devoured by the fire. Now, I'm going to stretch a little bit here, but you guys don't realize that there is some talk that they kidnap babies and sacrifice them to Baal by fire. Again, let's go.
And homes with sponsors, but then what happens next? Our investigation found thousands of those children are now disappearing from those sponsor homes. Our Scripps News investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra joins us tonight. And Patrick, there are also concerns the federal government isn't doing enough to track them down.
That's right, Dylan. To really zero in on this, we picked Culpeper, Virginia. It's a town with a very large Guatemalan population and a lot of sponsors who have taken in migrant children, only to see so many of them disappear. These are the faces of migrant runaways. Children who came across the southern border alone, were placed by the U.S. government with an adult sponsor, and then vanished. Kids like 15-year-old Yenny, who was last spotted with a black backpack getting into a white pickup truck. No one will say where she went. Selena was just 16 when she ran away from her sponsor's home weeks ago. Cesar, also 16, left his uncle's home one day and never returned. Each of these children disappeared from the small town of Culpeper, Virginia, about a 2-hour drive from Washington, D.C.
The sponsor will take him in, or her, and then within 30 days tops, a couple days sometimes, and then the child just picks up and leaves.
You called this a crisis.
We have 21 missing still
That's a crisis.
On a small town.
Yeah.
The sponsor will take him in, or her, and then within 30 days tops, a couple days sometimes, and then the child just picks up and leaves.
You called this a crisis.
And this is something that I don't, well, you know, what can you do, right, I guess? These people that sponsor these children, they're the ones that tell these people that's what the children do. You understand that? The children didn't say, oh, bye, see you later, I'm never coming back. They never got a chance to talk to them. So what did these parents supposedly do? Oh, they just ran away. No, what if they were part of that whole system? Did it ever occur to you? Did it ever occur to you that that is possibly the case? Best case or worst case scenario? This is in 2024, by the way. Okay, you see the video. I did this in 2024. That's why I'm glad I found it.
We have 21 missing still.
Because guess what? It's still happening. And like the brother had said earlier, what they had been saying in 2024 was actually happening here. waiting for our people while they were doing the paperwork correctly, going to court, doing the cases, and next thing you know, they took them anyways. They were saying this in 2024. I was saying this in 2024. Whatever. Anyways, let's go. I'm glad y'all are here now. At least we're all hearing it now, together.
On a small town. Yeah. The sponsor will take him in or her.
New Department of Homeland Security report suggests the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, ICE, cannot account for tens of thousands of unaccompanied minors. The report from the DHS Inspector General notes a number of issues, effectively blaming ICE for losing track of children who arrive alone at the border. Let's bring in border correspondent Allie Bradley, who is live for us in Del Rio, Texas. Allie, break down more of this report for us.
Yeah, hey, Nicole, it's a pretty alarming report that found that at least 32,000 unaccompanied children never showed up for their court dates between 2019 and 2023, and nearly 300,000 of these kids that came across the southern border alone never even got a court date whatsoever. So ICE did respond to this Office of Inspector General report here that was just released, saying that the notices were not given out to children until they were placed with sponsors. And at that point, they were in the custody of the Office of Refugee Resettlement. An immigration attorney that we spoke with says the fact that there are too many agencies involved is causing part of this issue here.
Tell people that I think that racism against Mexicans is kind of dormant. You just need somebody to fan the flames a little bit, and then people believe it all over again.
Turmoil, prejudice, racism, and resistance. These barriers have always described the Mexican experience passing through the American border, but never more so than during the Mexican Revolution in the early 20th century. Between 1910 and 1930, the amount of Mexicans immigrating into the United States tripled. This surge of refugees triggered anti-immigrant sentiment and concerns that the war would spread over the border to affect Americans. The tension was felt in no place more than El Paso, a border city right across the Rio Grande from the Mexican city of Juarez. Each day, thousands of Mexican workers crossed the border to work in the United States and experienced the rising racial discrimination firsthand. One such worker was a woman named Carmelita Torres, whose leadership in the 1917 Bath riots attempted to break social, political, and physical barriers of American hostility. Torres empowered Mexican immigrants to protest their maltreatment and inspired Mexican women to begin social political activism in the face of rampant sexism. Despite her efforts, these barriers were strengthened in the aftermath of the Mexican Revolution and World War I. In 1915, recently elected Mayor Tom Lee was obsessed with cleanliness. His vision of scrubbing the city clean of corruption, drugs, and minorities set the stage for years of social, political, and physical barriers for immigrants into the United States.
Hundreds of dirty, lousy, destitute Mexicans arriving at El Paso daily will undoubtedly bring and spread typhus unless a quarantine is placed at once.
This anti-Mexican sentiment was reflected in government policy and in jails. Crude methods of disinfection began, including the soaking of Mexican prisoners in gasoline, often resulting in tragedy.
A flash of flame burst from tanks in which prisoners, including Mexicans, were being given disinfecting baths in the campaign to prevent the spread of disease from Mexico. A match lighted by one of the bathers in disregard of orders was said to have caused the explosion.
On January 24, 1917, El Paso announced a full quarantine of Mexican immigrants from Juarez.
All persons entering El Paso from Mexico between the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. will be subject to quarantine inspection and disinfection of their person and effects when considered necessary or advisable by the quarantine officer.
This political and physical barrier went into effect a mere 3 days later, alongside a government-instituted disinfection plan. For Mexican immigrants, the effects of this political and physical barrier were immediate and harsh.
They're first going to be segregated by sex when they go into the facility. They're going to be forced to strip naked. Their clothes are going to be taken away from them, and they're going to be chemically scoured. They're going to be laundered. And what they're doing is they're checking for lice.
Some Mexicans willingly went through the baths multiple times a day in hopes of selling border tickets to others who were desperate to evade the humiliation at the border. Rumors even broke out that the health personnel were photographing the nude bathers and spreading their pictures throughout the town. One woman, Carmelita Torres, was enraged by these humiliating barriers to Mexican women. Carmelita was a 17-year-old Mexican maid who lived in Juarez and crossed into El Paso every day to work. She resisted. Later, the American people would come to know her as the auburn-haired Amazon.
An indigenous woman was locked up for 12 years in an American psych ward just because no one understood her. Rita Patiño was an indigenous Raramuri woman from Chihuahua, Mexico. The Raramuri are considered to be great runners. In fact, they are considered the fastest tribe in the entire world, which is one of the reasons why in 1983, Rita went on a walk and ended up all the way in Kansas from Chihuahua. Confused and frightened, she decided to walk into a church in Kansas where she thought she would be safe and helped. Instead, the police were immediately called, and because Rita didn't speak English or Spanish, she was sent to a psychiatric ward where she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. They thought her native language was illogical babbling and that she was clearly mentally ill. And they kept her in that psychiatric ward for 12 years. During this time, they forced her to take medication she did not need, and her only crime was being an indigenous woman in Kansas. It wasn't until the Disability Rights Center of Kansas decided to review cases of patients who had been in the hospital for more than 5 years that Rita was freed. In 1994, they found Rita's case, and in her medical records, it clearly stated that she was from the Raramuri peoples and she was from Chihuahua, Mexico. That information was there all along, since the very beginning of those 12 years where the staff claimed that no one knew where she was from and no one knew what language she was speaking. Mexico has more than 60 languages, and speaking any one of them should not be a crime. She's since passed away, but there's a documentary called The Woman of Stars and Mountains, which retells her story with her input if you want to learn more about her.
The Woman of Stars and Mountains, it's called. The Woman of Stars and Mountains. There I go, I did it again. All right, so I'm gonna share this with you. I'm gonna actually explain it a little different today. You know, a lot of times we, like brothers that teach, right? We're bringing this out like, yeah, we this. Oh, let me give you an example of why I think our people are just simply afraid to actually feel like they may be preferred. Okay? Let's say that I show you this video and then I tell you, 2nd Ezra 6:54, brothers and sisters, the reason why we have that shit happen to us all the time, it's because, God has his favorite people. So, it says it in the Bible. And after Adam, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. You see, there's nothing we can do about it. We're just not chosen. We're just what the other people say, the goyim. Are you okay with that? Would you like for people to tell you that? Instead, when I say to you, yo, listen, man, this Bible belongs to you because it's talking about you this entire freaking time in every shape and form, any direction you want to take it. It's your book. All you got to do is just actually stop believing this Christian bullshit, dumb Virgin Mary story, and just wake the hell up just slightly. No. You prefer being the spittle. I'll give you an example. As this has says, verse 55, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made the world for our sake. As for the other people, I guess you guys, that's what you prefer, which also come of Adam. Thou hast said that they are nothing. Would that be would that make more him to listen to this, not even my point, our point of the brothers that are saying what I'm saying? Would that make more sense to you? Hey, listen, we're whatever. You would just like to be in the bottom. Is that what it is? But then instead, when I say to you, yo, listen, man, your history is in this book. Look, your diet is in this book. Look, the way that you dress is in this book. Look, the music and the instruments that you play and prefer is in this book. Look, the stuff that's going on is in this book. Look, the stuff that happened in the past is in this book. Look, the diseases that occur to us is in this book. Look, oh my God, the pronunciation of certain things that's related to us is in this book. But no, for some reason you're like, nah. And this is why, and today I'm going to use some New Testament stuff. As you guys know, we've been through this already in this channel. But I'm going to use this for the sake of burned as a furnace, because that's the point. There is one important thing that Peter says here in 2 Peter 3:16, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable wrest, as do also the other scriptures, unto their own destruction. This is talking about people misunderstanding Paul. But in this particular case, I want to use it for people that are misunderstanding this entire book. I'm not a white guy, so people think you don't know what you're talking about. Nor am I black, because then people say I don't have enough followers. I'm just some random Mexican dude. What does he know? What the fuck does he know? You're right. What do I know? But somehow, some way, I kind of get an understanding of this book a lot better than a lot of you. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 18. Because, like, again, they are understanding this book to their own destruction. You know, like, for example, what's that verse? I can't remember. Oh, my God, I can't believe I can't remember it. Anyways, it says if you claim something's going to happen and it doesn't come true and you claim to be a prophet, you should not be listened to. That's all that BHI shit. You guys said that the world was going to end in 2000. It never happened. The silliness. It says, 2 Ezra 9:18, it says, and now when I prepare the world, which was not yet made, even for them to dwell in that now live, no man spake against me. For then everyone obeyed. This is prior to Peleg, I believe. But now the manners of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed, by a law which is unsearchable, rid of themselves. This is talking about Cain. So you're being taught by the unlearned, the arrogant, the ones with perpetual destructive, corrupt seed. All of a sudden, you know, everybody seems to ignore the stuff that, I mean, shit, family, like masa is in the Bible. Like literally. Corn is like, tacos and carne asada is in the Bible. I don't understand why it's so complicated. But no, you let other people make you believe that, no, you know what, that's not true. You believe other religions, but yet, how come nothing changes? It seems like our people like to obey. Maybe that's the case. Am I wrong? I mean, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Because you guys sure as hell fell for the okie doke. Daniel 8:25 talks about it. And through his policy shall he cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. You know that word there, peace? Here, matter of fact, I think I saved it too. Yeah, I did. Here it goes. It's going to be a blue letter here. Use the concordance when you look up these words, by the way. But you'll see here exactly what peace means. By peace, right? It says ease, prosperity, quietness, abundance, security, genuine or false. Genuine or false. You see that? So that's even though that's the word, it's even saying it like in parentheses, genuine or false security. Now, I do know that these religions have taught you guys that prosperity is the proper way of how your life should be. So all of you that are broke, it's because you're in the wrong religion. Oh, you out the spirit, act. That's what they tell you guys. By peace shall destroy many. By peace shall destroy many. There is a scripture. Matter of fact, Wisdom of Solomon 14. We're gonna go forward and we're gonna come back, okay? Wisdom of Solomon 14:12 says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. Are we not seeing that? Didn't they bring the Virgen Maria to y'all? I told you guys who brought that shit, Sumarraga. He brought it. That's not a lie. You can look it up yourselves. They didn't even believe him. His own soldiers that were with him didn't believe him. And the invention of them, the corruption of life. Don't we have people fucking crawling? Oh, aren't you guys looking forward to Easter? Oh my God, if a fucking rabbit's gonna poop out an egg and shit. What the hell did that become? What is that? They made that a law, by the way, because you have to take the day off. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And it's all relative to Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Okay, think about it for a moment, family. Okay, here it goes right here. You have February, the month of Valentine's. The following month, somehow an egg is born. Okay? 9 months later, I believe with it. 9 months later, the egg, I guess, cracks. I don't know if you know that, but a baby's born. Do you understand that? When an animal lays an egg, the baby's not ready to be born. I don't know if you guys not understand that. Just like anything else, it has to take time. So when you lay an egg, you have to have the hen sit on the egg, or at least the rooster to, you know what I mean, get the baby going. Because you can, a chicken can lay an egg all day, every day. You can't have babies unless you have the rooster. But still, you still have to sit on the egg. And it takes time. So the way it works is, you know, Valentine's, February, March, whatever, April, Easter, you know, the conceiving of the egg, I'm sorry. Then the egg comes out. And then 9 months later, the egg cracks and you have a baby named Jesus. I'm not kidding. Look it up. It's not a lie. For the devising of idols was the beginning of the spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. Yeah, it was a creation of men. For by the vainglory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he had made an image of his child, soon taken away, now honored him as God. Now some say that this is supposedly Caesar Borgia, right? But in case you guys really need to read and learn the timeline. Because if you actually learn the timeline of this character, he dies not even in the correct time of this timeline that you're trying to match with 1492. Do you understand that? It doesn't work that way. It says, now honored him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. Now, why did I, even mention that? Because we're actually talking about what these people have actually brought to our gente. Through this disguise that they have done what? The example right here. In case you guys forgot, hopefully you didn't, but let me remind you. Ezekiel 23:25, right? It says, and I will set thy jealousy against thee, and they shall deal furiously with thee. They shall take away thy nose and thine ears, and thy remnant shall fall by the sword. They shall take thy sons and thy daughters, and thy residue shall be devoured by the fire. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Oh, here it goes. Hold on. Give me a second. Secret. Oh. I don't have that video. Do I have that video? Give me a second, family. Trying to look for this. Oh man, hold on. Let's see. What is it called? Hold on. I don't think. Where did I put it? Yeah, I wrote it down. Okay, hold on a second. Here it goes right here. Okay, I wrote it down. Sorry, I saved it. I saved things a certain way, and sometimes I don't even realize I might have misspelled it. Oh, don't do this to me now. Oh, shoot. That sucks. I had a video regarding Christmas, Easter, and Ash Wednesday. Here, let me see if I can just kind of pop it up real quick. Sure. Let me show this to you. Not that. No, come on, man. I kid you not, family. I had a video for y'all, and I saved it wrong. I'm just gonna do this. I'll do that. Okay, here it goes right here. At least
Easter is a time of celebration. Flower.
Wait. Wait just a minute. All right, so we got Easter going on right now. Let's go.
Or sunrise services may be chocolate eggs and bunnies. But have you ever paused to ask why we do these things? From a biblical perspective, Easter is meant to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ, his triumph over sin and death. Yet to grasp that miracle fully, we must travel back thousands of years to the first Passover in Egypt, where the promise began. The original Passover, God's divine rescue. Picture the scene in Egypt. A dozen plagues have devastated the land, and Pharaoh's hard heart will not let God's people go. On the final night, Exodus 12 records God's solemn instructions. Every Israelite household was to slaughter a spotless lamb and paint its blood on the doorposts. In Exodus 12:13, the Lord said, "When I see the blood, I will pass over you." That crimson sign became a life-saving token. Death passed over the Israelites as the angel of destruction struck down Egypt's firstborn. This Passover was no accident of history. It was God's divine design to rescue his people by the blood of a lamb.
You can see it's giving us a history that it has nothing to do, first of all, with freaking rabbits, okay? But let's continue.
Setting them free from slavery. That blood on the doorposts speaks across the ages. The Passover pointed backward to the deliverance of the children of Israel and was also typical, pointing forward to Christ, the Lamb of God, slain for the redemption of fallen humanity. In other words, the God of Abraham was showing his people, "This is how you are saved, by trusting my lamb's blood."
Give me a moment. Hold on. Oh, man, I thought I could have found a better video. I think this one may help a little bit.
Easter, with its pastel hues, frosted confections, and jubilant celebrations of resurrection, seems like a season of pure joy. A time when eggs are dyed, baskets brim with sweets, and the world awakens in the soft light of spring. Yet beneath this cheerful facade lies a history far older, steeped in rites of fertility, renewal, and reverence for the forces of nature. Long before Easter's Christian significance, the season was marked by ancient celebrations tied to the rhythms of the earth. It was a time to honor the balance of light and dark, the rebirth of life after the long death of winter. From the hare, a symbol of fertility sacred to the goddess Aostra, to eggs representing creation itself, these practices carried meanings that whispered of a world.
What I'm saying, to eggs representing creation itself. So the egg comes out in Easter, still hasn't hatched yet because you have to get to what? Let's see, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Or March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 9 months, yeah. From April through December. The concept of creation. You guys don't even think about that, do you? Literally, December is what? December 12th. What's the next month? January. What's the following month after that? February. Valentine's. What happens in Valentine's? You know, love in the air, right? Don't people usually have babies October, December because of Valentine's and the following month? I mean, you guys don't even think about that. That's exactly how it's been played out for y'all. The creation of an egg that hatches in 9 months, it's called Christmas.
Where humanity's survival depended on the mercy of the natural world. How then did these primal, earthy traditions, celebrations of soil and seed, of life and death intertwined, become woven into the fabric of Christianity's holiest day? How did symbols of pagan fertility merge with the story of resurrection, creating the Easter we know today? The answer lies in a fascinating fusion of faiths, where the early church sought not to erase these ancient rites, but to transform them, baptizing their meanings into a new religious framework.
There's a perfect example of this verse right here. Let's go back to it real quick. Wisdom of Solomon 14:20. It says, "And so the multitude, allured by the grace of the work, took him now for a god, which a little before was not but honored. This was an occasion to deceive the world, for men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks of incommunicable names," right? So like the cross, the churches, the Easter egg, the Ash Wednesdays. "Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of God." I mean, Ash Wednesday, where the fuck does it say to do that in the Bible? Tell me where. But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. Prosperity, false prosperity. That's not prosperity, but that's what these religions have been teaching you guys for quite some time. Matter of fact, Malachi 2:7 talks about that same thing. It says, for the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law out of his mouth. The law just doesn't mean regulations and shit. It also means understanding, wisdom, and comprehension. You know, it takes two to tango, by the way. Can't just go one way. For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. But not everybody's good at it, to be honest, man. Some of us are not meant to be doing shit like that. I'm probably one of them. And I admitted it to a brother, you know. Hey, Rayak, what's up, bro? If you're listening. It's sometimes some of us are better than at certain things than others, man. He's better at it than I am, I think. Dealing with brothers. Wisdom of Solomon 14:23. Watch this, what it says. It says, for while they slew their children in sacrifices or used secret ceremonies or made revelings in strange riots. Now, a lot of you guys don't realize that you're doing that. You know, our gente does that shit all the time. Weird sacrifices, limpiezas and shit, cracking an egg on you. What the fuck, bro? Secret ceremonies. Seriously. You guys think it's funny? It's not, man. It's like some of you guys may think it's not a big deal, but eventually it will become a big deal. Verse 24, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled. And I, you know, I've heard like from a brother, man. I'm not gonna say names, but he suffers from that shit. I think he had to like let it go, bro. But either one slew another treacherously or grieved him by adultery. I mean, and this technically what it's actually saying to you right there, that these things lead you to do these other things. How many people have you heard that they're in church and shit, cheating on each other? Come on, man. You know, it's just obvious. It's just obvious. And you start leading a particular path, and you know, you get a warning, by the way. You get warned, and I'm speaking from experience too. I'm not just saying it. You get warned, and it's time for you to listen. All right, so now let me bring you to this point here, because I want to say it now, okay? And the topic burned in a furnace, so let's tackle that. Let's tackle that, because we have a lot of people telling us a lot of different shit, okay? We got these BHI camps claiming to be Hebrews. And they base it off of specifically this verse. So this verse here, Revelation 1:14 says, regarding the Messiah, his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. We're not going to worry about that today. We're going to focus on something else. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. This is the key. And his feet like unto fine brass. This is why when you get heated and involved with religion, you're going to stop seeing these things and you're going to believe they're fucking bullshit. Even Rasa trying to say, oh, I came out of the nutsack of a black man. Well, wait, you did. Go for it. Don't try to involve everybody. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. Now, don't fall for the okie doke, family. Remember, I said earlier that, you know, I grew up making shit out of clay. And I was pretty good at it too, okay? So then I also learned that, hey, you know, you can actually make things out of clay and then you can cook it, so to speak. Put it in the oven. But it's called a kiln. And when you see this kiln, you understand exactly what this means. As if they burned in a furnace. And his voice as the sound of many waters. Now, here's where I think you guys are misunderstanding. This is where the lack of spirit really kicks in. Everybody's looking into, oh, his feet. No. Okay, listen to this. And his feet like fine brass. Okay? It is not fine brass. It is not brass. It's like it. So, if you're trying to say this guy's a human, because that's what their doctrine is, okay, so then what does his skin look like? Not copper. Brass is not copper. Fine brass, for that matter, is definitely more like fucking yellowish, man. Straight up, like yellow. Orangey, but, I mean, light brownish, yellowish type of goldenish type of deal, okay? And we're going to look into it. And his feet like unto fine brass as if it burned in a furnace. I'm not going to worry about anything else right now. I'm just going to focus on that. Brass as if it burned in a furnace. The scriptures are very allegory, and it talks about different things, okay? It talks about different things, by the way. And in case you don't know what I mean by that, I'll give you an example about what is the things that it talks about, all right? So, for example, if you go to Job 10:9, watch. Job 10, verse 9, it says, remember, I beseech thee that thou hast made me as the clay. Oh, really? And wilt thou bring me into dust again? So here we see a reference of Job. I mean, we hear Job saying technically, yo, you made me out of clay. I understand that. From the dust of the ground. Oh, and we're going to prove that. But you see, clay is not just any random clay. But let's continue on that particular topic so you can understand the allegory of the scriptures. You got to be really mindful of these things. It says, Job 33:6, behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I also am formed out of the clay. Now, remember I said earlier that, I made clay and I made things out of clay, and then there's clay that you can actually put it in the oven and it burns. Right? Getting the drift. Psalms 40:2. Watch what it says. It says, he brought me up also out of a horrible pit, out of a miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my goings. Miry clay. Genesis 2:7. From the dust of the ground. Now here, I think, really, personally, I would precept this with Isaiah 51. Because it talks about Abraham. Hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock whence ye are hewn, and unto the hole of the pit where you are digged. He here references Abraham as a rock. Most of us, he references us as clay. The concept is getting them out of the pit. Either way, right? Isaiah 45:9, watch this. It says here, woe unto him that striveth with his maker, right? If you're striving with the Lord, with the Creator. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what maketh thou or thy work? He hath no hand. He hath no hands. It's like me making something out of clay, and here the clay is trying to tell me, why are you trying to make? No, I make myself. You don't make me. Like, what the hell? I'm the maker. I'm making you, not you. You ain't making me. But the concept is the allegory of clay. And why am I emphasizing this? Because I'm going to show you something. See, when these people start talking about scriptures, right, claiming to be those people, right, and excluding you and making you feel less under them, like as if you shouldn't know shit because you're a fucking donkey, you start realizing, like, nah, they don't even know what they're talking about. But now, O Lord, thou art our Father, we are the clay. Constantly saying, thou art potter, thou art potter, and we are the work of thine hand. So clay, you make pottery out of clay. You understand that? And you got to put the pottery in the kiln in order to actually have a pot. Shit, can't even say it right. You need that process. The scriptures are allegory. And when people try to go and twist and turn the words, and they have no idea what they're saying themselves, they're all looking at it on the surface level, and you're stupid enough to believe it, well, then maybe, maybe the trick should be on you. I believe it should not be. Jeremiah 18:6, one more. O house of Israel, cannot I do with you as this potter, say the Lord? Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in mine hand, O house of Israel. So he looks at us as clay. Now we go back once again. Revelation 1:14. 15 for that matter. Okay, we're going to isolate this stuff. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace. We've been referenced as clay. We've been referenced as, this, right? Okay, now check this out. I'm going to show you this real quick. You gotta come with facts. You can't like mess around with what do you call it? Pictures and get a lighter and shit, and you try to burn a copper. Like, come on, bro. A lighter, that's just fluid. That fire's not gonna burn the copper. It's not like a fucking furnace. It turns black because it's the smoke, man. Come on, bro. Why and for you guys to fall for that shit, that's even more amazing. Listen to this. This is a furnace. This is what it looks like. As if it burned in a furnace, okay? This is what a furnace looks like. You telling me he looked black out of this shit? The outside, right? The outside is dark, but I mean, that's not, that's not clay, by the way. But let's continue. As if it burned in a furnace. So everything about him looked a certain color, and we're about to see it right now, just like the thumbnail, just like that shit right there. That's what he technically looked like. Where the hell do you guys get black out of this shit? What is that in there? That's not black, bro. That's not brown. It's not copper. That's yellow. His feet onto fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace. So he had like yellowish feet looking. Where do you get black out of that? What are you talking about? What do you mean? And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. This is what you call a kiln, right? So you wait for the fire to turn on, and then when it's ready, well, technically you put the pots in there before, and then you turn on the actual kiln. I thought I had a better image of this, but let me see. Yeah, let's continue. Okay, family, you hear me? So check this out. We're looking at red clay here, right? This is clay. So we already saw the oven, furnace, burning. Yellowish tone, right? It didn't look black. Did it look black? Did it look white? No, it didn't. It looked like this. Orange, yellowish. Like the mane of a lion, like that skin tone. Right? Because technically you see houses made out of adobe and it's usually this color, right? Look at the brick right there. Look at the bricks. Look at the bricks. Look at the bricks. Okay, now, if you go to Genesis 2:7, and the Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. Now let's dig deep into this. Let's look at the word ground. Concordance is H127. It says what? Oh shit, my bad. Let me go back. I don't like this. Maybe I can deal with it.
Strong's H126. Edma. Edma.
A ver, que alguien me explique.
What does it say right there? It says red earth. Red earth. Earthy Adma, a place near the Dead Sea. Red earth. I'm not making this up. Adama. Now this one is, hold on a second. What did I do? Did I click it? Okay, hold on. 127. 126. So Adma, 126 is red earth. 127 is Adama, so the root word of it, right? Now if we go here, hold on, let me look at this real quick. So we're looking at Adma from H119 soil, from its general redness. You see? You see this? You see now what we're talking about? How can you go and say, first of all, this, his feet like unto fine brass, as if it burned in a furnace? As if it burned, burning. And then we show you Genesis 2:7 to give you even more of a reference. How could that be? Here it says red, made out of clay, breathed into his nostrils, the breath of life. Even our material says some stuff like that. This is from one of the books that I have here. I can't remember the book to be honest with you, but let me read this to you real quick. It says, a growing plant springs from the head of the god Itzama. The plant springing from the earth withers and it's revived and is revived. The corn deity holds forth the growing plant, springing forth from the sign Ik, or breath, life, or breath of life. Our people had a concept of a breath of life. This is from the Scriptures Gazetteer. We're almost done. And we see here an understanding of it as well. The Mexicans have been further identified with the lost tribes of Israel by the names and attributes which they assign to the Creator. It is unnecessary to quote the words in its original. They design him as the Most High, the Lord of our bodies, or of life, God of heaven, God of fire, the God of ages, the supreme, the great, the terrible one, the master of paradise. I was looking for another one. It's all good. At least I got to read it. Oh, hold on. Here's another one. From the 10 tribes that historically identified, page 151, it says here that the two signs dedicated to Quetzalcoatl are the two principal terms characterizing his first and second coming. That of wisdom and its symbol, the serpent, and of the life or breath of the Most High. So we kind of been familiar with this. Watch this. Watch this. I'll show you.
No creían en el alma, creían en algo mucho más profundo, que se llama el aliento de vida. Ahora te explico. La palabra alma viene de la palabra ánima, que significa movimiento. Por eso conocemos palabras como animal, animado, animación, y tiene que ver con todo aquello que se mueve, que tiene vida. Para los mexicas, el cuerpo no era una cárcel, era un territorio vivo, y se dividía en 3 formas de aliento. El primero es el ijillot, que es lo que hace que las cosas tengan vida, impulso, fuerza, aquello que hace que las cosas tengan su esencia. Todo lo que huele y sabe, por ejemplo, el sabor de una naranja, el sabor de una manzana, lo que caracteriza a una cosa, su esencia. El segundo, tonali, el calor interno, la fuerza vital, eso que te da carácter. Antes se decía que este calor entraba por la cabeza y al morir se escapaba por el cabello. El tercero, teyolia, que es la conciencia del corazón. No pensar con la mente, sino con el corazón. No somos un cuerpo con algo adentro. Somos calor que proviene del sol, aliento en movimiento y un corazón que pulsa.
See what I mean? Breath of life. Now, that's no different than the concept that I told you guys. It's about the spirit, the flesh, and the mind. She mentioned the flesh first. She mentioned the mind next, and then she mentioned the spirit. The way she explained it, I think you can interchange one of the two, the second ones, right? But it's the concept of 3. The flesh, the mind, and the spirit. Breath of life is what I mean. I have these notes here. It says, in the old stories, the Creator had made man from the dust of the earth by shaping the clay and breathing life into him. This is why the Muskegee name of God is Hesaketufsi, the giver of breath. Once the people had multiplied on earth, Creator told them many things about the last days they were coming. Creator told the Muskegee people that fire would destroy the world. People who had long been dead would come back to life, and horrible things would emerge from the earth. There would be a large gathering of people, and then that death would no longer exist. It is then that the giver of breath will seek out those among the people who have lived good lives according to the Creator's ways, and that the Creator would then take them up. Grantham, 2002, page 19. It says Chief Joseph Riverwind assisted. Oh man, I let myself these notes. I need to look for that. Oh, thank you. I didn't even know that. Shit, thank you, Father. Oh man, that's good. Anyhow, but you know what, fam? That's technically all I got for today. I appreciate you guys being here. Hope it made sense. I hope there's other brothers out there that can actually, also break it down and give us some understanding of what they see too, man. Because this is a topic that could really be. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me do this. I want to tackle it with this. Hold on. I'm not going to be repetitive. You guys might have seen this video already, but you know what, dude? It would be perfect if you guys actually see it right now with this piece here, because I gave that breakdown, and it's 20 minutes. Probably less than that now because I remember the song. So it's like, hold on. Let me start here. Bam. Okay, did I do that? Hold on, I did that. Okay, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna let it play because it goes in depth. All right, it's not that long. It's actually 15 minutes, something like that, dude. You know what I'm saying? So let's play it. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. Okay, let's go. And then after that, we're done.
In the good things, meaning the commandments that brings wisdom. Okay, let me read it again. Blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom, right? Why? And that reasoneth of holy things by understanding, because through that wisdom, you tend to reason with life, situations, people, and even the studying habits, the discipline, right? Of holy things by his understanding. Meaning what? Of the Most High. Okay, so let's read it one more time. Blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom, and that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding. Excuse me, I misunderstood that. By his understanding, meaning that it's like you, for example. Okay, so correct that, slash that. Verse 21. He that considereth her ways. In the Bible, wisdom is used as a female, right? Because it wants you to consider it. Obviously, when you, obviously to our brothers here, when you love a woman, if you're very firm love, you love a woman, you're gonna obviously treat her well and you know, take care of her, right? Because you want to make sure that, you know, you get what you want, I guess, in that sense, right? At that time in that world. But the point being is that that's the same concept. He that considereth her ways in his heart, meaning his mind, shall also have understanding in her secrets. Okay? So let's start off with Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, because that's what I had touched on yesterday. And the reason why I think this is important is because we've been taught otherwise. We've been taught that Genesis 2:7 is where the so-called black man came from, right? They go to it. So let's go to it. Genesis 2:7, and it reads, this is exactly it. It says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, okay, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, right? So now, they'll go and say, and when I mean they is the one West doctrine, okay, that, you see, it's a man from the ground. If you dig the dirt, it looks dark. The deeper you go, the darker it is in some areas. But anyways, for the sake of the scriptures, let's stick to it. So now let's use the tools that were given to us. So now if we look at what the word ground means, because man formed, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. But if you click on dust, yeah, just for the sake of you guys understanding, let's click on that real quick. It really means more of like debris, earth, stuff, powder, you know, things of that nature, ashes, gray, rubbish, right? But if you click on the word ground, H127.
Strong's H127. Adamah. Adamah.
Adamah. So Adamah is what? Go back again. It's ground. See that? And it means ground land, ground, piece of ground. City of Natali. We'll touch on that in a little bit. And then it says redness, right? Now, you're going to see this, H119, H119. Hold your thought on that one, because we're going to come back to it. So, as we know now, that Adamah is ground, or based on this, it just says redness, right? So, let's dig a little deeper. Let me show you guys something real quick. I put this on last time. So, as you can see, man from the earth, okay? That's what it means. I mean, you simple Google. Simple Google. Now, if you click on here, our baby namers, okay? Now, keep in mind that in One West doctrine, the One West indoctrination, you got these brothers who will use a classical baby Bible book. So they, it's like, you know, you pick names from this book, right? Bible names. Like you see Esau, you see Edom, red and hairy. You see that? Okay, fine. And then that's pretty much it. So now, if you actually consider this here, it's no different. Adamah, the meaning of Adamah is man from the earth. Didn't I just literally Google it just like that? Who does Adamah mean, right? Or what does Adamah mean? It's the same thing, right? Adamah, okay? Now, I'm going to show you something real quick here too. And I don't like to use references, or name them, I'm sorry, because I would appreciate it if you guys actually watched the class and wrote them down. Adamah, again, it says red ground, earth. Adamah, again, means red ground, earth. So now, let me show you guys this real quick. Adamah, red earth again, right? And it's, I guess, fortified city of Natali. Again, remember that. So now I'm going to show you guys something real quick. From Zondervan Dictionary, Bible Dictionary. And I actually got an old one, okay? From 1960, I believe, 1969. Watch what it says inside. Adamah. Adamah. Hebrew. Adamah. Red ground. Or Naphtali. Place in Naphtali. Okay? And since we see it now, Joshua 19:36. Let's go to it. Let me close these real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on. Why is it referencing that, right? Obviously, we're going to ask. And Joshua 19:36 reads, and Adamah and Ramah and Hazor, right? Adamah and Ramah and Hazor. What does Adamah mean? YH128. It means Adamah, the earth, or red earth, or city in Naphtali. Okay? So now, why? Why would they call a place Adamah in the city of Naphtali? You got to wonder that, right? Those things are important. There's only one time they use this word. Look, Adamah, a place in Palestine, same as. There's really not much here. Really not much. But I'm going to show you guys something real quick. I like using maps a lot. And I'm going to show you this. Now, why am I showing you a map? Naphtali's right here, right? You see Naphtali. You see Asher is by the ocean. Zebulun is under Naphtali. Issachar below. Gad below. Manasseh to the right or to the left. I really look at it. Dan is north. But one thing about Naphtali is that it's by the sea of, and I cannot remember the name of that sea. I apologize. They call it sea. Well, I don't want to look through it because of time. Okay. The sea, can't read it. But all of Naphtali has a riverbank. Now, the reason I mention this is because since, as I've said before, since I was young, I've been using clay. A teacher of mine introduced it to me, and I guess it's just been a natural gift. So I'm very familiar with how clay works and where to find clay. Well, guess one of the things where you need to find clay. I'm gonna show you. Okay. You guys can look this up too. Ancient pottery, just check it out. It's a website. Look, watch what it says. I'll read this whole thing. It says, because they are the smallest particles of soil, clay particles stay suspended in water longer than sand or slit particles. This tendency to stay suspended in moving waters and to settle slowly in calm waters allows clay to form beds where water sat still at some time in the distant past. As a result of this, the best place to find clay are along foot plains of rivers and streams or on the bottoms of ponds, lakes, and seas. All right? Now, when I was in high school, I think, a little after high school. I was already working. I think I was like 20 years old or something like that. There's this game that I used to play. And this game is called Caesar 3. Now, it's like a civilization. And as I'm reading these things, right, I'm like, Naphtali, wonder why it's calling it that. And I'm looking at the map, and then that's why. You see, since this game here, you have an open land, and then you basically can create a city. And as more people live there, it develops into this, what you see. It starts off like these huts over there. You obviously have to build cities and economic system, right? You see this right here? Those are clay pits. Now, the clay pit can never be next to the water, and the clay pit technically cannot be way inland where there's no water. It has to be by the water, not next to it, as it says. You may find them by them, but for the most part, it's not that close. Now, what I find interesting is Naphtali is literally running all across. So if you connect the two together, they call that place in the Adamah in Naphtali because it's red ground. I'm going somewhere with this, okay? I'm absolutely going somewhere with this. Hold that thought. Remember what I'm just saying. Let's go to Genesis 2:19 so we can connect it. Because that's where you first see the name of Adam. Genesis 2:19. It says, and out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them, okay? We've been using this already, so let's just jump into it. Adam.
Strong's H120. Adam. Adam.
H120, Adam. Remember that right there? The H119 from before? Look what it says. Etymology, root word. Red, 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 red. Rudy, Rudy, red. Cause to show red. Glare. Grow red. Look red. Redness. I'm going to bring up another topic of another class. But we're going to answer exactly what Revelation 1:14 is really saying. Anyhow, You see that right there? H119. And Adam means what? Man, mankind, right? That's what it says. But check it out. It says Rudy right next to H119. Okay? But that's not all. Watch this real quick. What's behind the name? Behind the name means what? This is a Hebrew word for man. It could ultimately derive from Hebrew Adam, meaning to be red, referring to ruddy color of human skin. Okay? Let's go to Bible study now. Adam. Adam is both the proper name for first human and the designation of humankind. God himself gave the appellation to Adam and Eve. The color red lies behind the Hebrew root Adam. This may reflect the red soil from which he was made. Red soil, right? Red soil. All right. Let me continue to show you guys this real quick. I'm going to go back to the St. Zondervan Dictionary Bible. Watch what it says about Adam. Adam. Adham, red or made. This is the Zondervan Bible. You'll find it in your Zondervan Bible, One West Campers. You'll find it in it. I'll show you this too, right? This is on a who's who, right? Who's who? Adam. Adam. Derived from the Hebrew word for earth, Adamah. The root word for both may be connected with Hebrew word for red, that would imply reddish soil or clay in the area where Adam was created. The belief that the first man was created out of clay was by no means confined to Hebrew mythology. That's why I had mentioned that before. Okay? Because when you start looking at these things here, again, I'm using all the sources that they provided for us. Classical Bible names. Never did they show us this. Adam. Red earth. Red earth. So now, remember the other link before, right? Let me not forget it. Let's go back to it. I want to make sure that we can clear this up real quick. It says here Adam, right? Hold on a second here. Let me go ahead and do this here. Hold on, where you at? Oh, here it goes right here. Here it goes right here. It says, derived from the Hebrew word earth, Adamah. The root of both words may be connected with the Hebrew word for red. That would imply a reddish soil or clay in the area where Adam was created. To the belief that the first man was created out of clay was by no means confined to the Hebrew mythology, right? By no means was it confined to it. Okay. Let me show you something. Isaiah 64.
Hey, thanks, family. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate that. So you know that's. I wanted to make sure that we can squeeze that video in. Now check this, Jeremias. Here, let me explain it. The concept of an egg, right? You have to understand where it comes from. A lot of it does have to do with Semiramis, Nimrod, and all that stuff. But let's isolate it for a moment. Okay. When they say to you, let's say, I don't know, somebody comes to my house and they want to do a limpia con un huevo. They say that they run that egg through my body, whatever, and that the bad spirit jumps in that egg, okay? And then it cracks. You get rid of it. It's the same concept as to, you know, like that Nimrod Arsarith concept. You know, being born again. It's the same concept. Like Easter today. I mean, Easter, like the Easter that's coming up. Everybody's, oh my God. You know, it's the concept of the egg showing up, being reborn in December. So when anything related to that egg, let me clean you, it's because it's taking your old self and being born again and cracking the egg. And it's I don't know, man. I really hope that a lot of our brothers and sisters start getting away from that. You know, because that's I've heard stories. I don't know if they're true. And as crazy as they sound, I don't think I want to put myself in that situation or put my kids in that situation. I appreciate you, brother. If you're listening, you know who I'm talking about. I mean, he shared some stuff with me, and it's like, fuck. You guys don't want to be in that situation, dude. It starts with stuff like that. You know? And then it hold on. And then it continues to linger, and nobody really wants to talk about it. Once it shows up right in your face, it's over. So be mindful of it. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, man. Respect and love from the world, nigga. Show them. You nigga on a microphone. Can't I sit the number for everything? Rock you in the studio. Bomba, claro. ¿De qué manera sufre el alma cuando alguien se va? No hay medicina que cure esa larga enfermedad. La vitamina de la vida en esta sociedad es tan divina que por nombre tiene libertad. Libérate de la mentira que está por llegar. Mide tu orgullo antes de empezar a hablar. Cierra la puerta a quien no merezca entrar, porque hay mucho que se fue y sueña con regresar. Hablemos en silencio y así no me mentirás. El poder de la palabra muere cuando hablan de más. No me fío de oraciones que se dicen por detrás. Si me miras a los ojos no te mentiré jamás. Que besar por besar es jugar por jugar. Y vivir sin amor es vivir sin amar. Solo queda la fe, solo queda soñar. Ponte de pie, ready para luchar. Some love, I can just smoke and there are some love them. I can just smoke and there are some love. I remember no fire, no burn. Ribby day. Cali with a mama soul, yeah. ¿De cuánto tiempo hablamos cuando hablamos de querer? Si la mitad lo malgastamos solo en comprender. ¿De qué manera es más fácil aprender? Que nacemos para ganar y morimos al perder. No puedo dejar de animarte, que cuando te caigas debes levantarte. Llegué para contarte que no todo artista muere por su arte. Traigo el honor de un humano con valor que utiliza poesía para respirar mejor. Escribo prosa para vengar al amor y recuerda aquella rosa que tiraron al contenedor. ¿Dónde se quedó el amor? Hey, I no voy a sitio on no microphone forever and ever. Tell me, roll some love. I can just smoke and the light, some love them. I Rastafari my life, some love. I remember no fire, no burn. Ribby day. Cali with a farmer soul, yeah. Reggae man a farmer warrior day. Not a really thing. Oh, yeah, man. Si se piensa que la música es un juego, lo lleva claro, hermano. Desde España, internacional, bomba, clack, you, Lego. Not so really easy. No. Pure nigga on a microphone. Hey, tell us what. Tell us anything. Tell if I'm a Rasta feeling on my sin. Hey, more love.
¿Vale? ¿Sí? ¿Te atreverías?
Ahí está.
¡Bemba! ¡Es original! ¡Kimba! Ella lo baila. ¿Quieres de mí? Origini. Todo para ti. ¡Hey, baby! Original y originini. Yo no tengo un cromo de panini. Si viene el Kimba lo reventó con el fucking altavoz. Si bien ocurreniga, estoy con el chico para soltarlo bien tranquilito. Es el Kimana, el Kimaneto, porque tiene el ritmo y esqueleto. No vi, ella no vio nada. Cuando suelto ritmo parece en la boca nada. No soy un dragón, pero suelto llamaradas. No soy un cabrón, pero sueno que te cagas. Original y parecen bandadas de cuervos volando que viene a matar. Si quieres algo del magneto, siempre ves buscar siempre suena fresco. Lo mejor me lo merezco. No tenemos parentesco con lazos de parece popescu. ¡Ey! Original, el maneta ha llegado pa' soltar los ritmos sentados. Si quieres algo bueno, pues yo vengo de un pasado. Desde lejos, hace tiempo, no soy viejo. Estoy atento, estoy contento. El entrecejo no lo ves, escondí hace tiempo. Original representa hace radio, el Netflix de Europa. Pa' venir a reventar todos los escenarios y llevarme la copa.
Un aplauso, hermano. Easy, haceme algo ya para culminar.
Hostia puta, tío, qué bueno.
¿Te dejo ahí mismo ese? ¿O te pongo otro?
Pónmelo al principio, va.
¿El principio, este mismo? ¿O te pongo otro?
Este está bien.
¿Este está bien? Vale. Desde el principio, entonces. Ahí va. Atención.
Estamos en AC Radio International Real. Hey, hemos vuelto a la casa del Real Netflix de Europa. Bombo claro, dice. Don't stop, everybody, don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Hey, sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi crew, solo tú, dame luz. Hey, sing it, badu. Don't stop, everybody, don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi crew, solo tú, dame luz. Everything come through. Ooh, girl, think you better. I think you clever. Hey, stay, my fucking old nigga. Hey, girl, think you better. I think alone, my brother. Everybody, come on, nego, hace radio, está fresco. Dice, mueve el cadera, mueve tremendo, suena perfecto, filo beca. Suena perfecto, viene del ritmo del gueto. But the fuck, internacional. Hey, nego, the fama, no really nobody. Se mueve el estilo, suena fenomenal. Suena bien guapo que viene los ritmos. En radio siempre suena fenomenal. Mueve cadera, mueve tremenda. Ezequiel Neto, el rey de la fiesta. Suena guapo, te lo digo, sacaría. Así que dale, on the freak, nego. Llaman a Real.
Lord of mercy.
This is Cypher Neimer.
¿Qué pasa, Otto?
It's original.
Yo, watch no.
I see the girl them dancing a party smoker. Wine.
Give me the sense in your point, we won't take no coca.
Wine.
First, my friend, lady Paloma.
Wine.
Party turn up, shut a dance and soca.
Wine.
A este juego salvaje que te pego. Aquí queremos fiestas sin maquillar el ego. Si tan duro como el ego.
Puerto sangriento de fuego, si rompe la palabra te maldecimos luego. Llega la masacre para el tipo de revista machista y para la mona que va de lista. Sonamos en la calle y prendemos cada pista. Cuca, gran cantorón de mista. Baila como quiera, ya lo demás que le dé. Que todo fluya,
Que solo es tuya, mi friend. Esta vida loca te dirá cómo saber
toda la bulla de los que quieran tu bien. Canta y buena será para todo aquel que quiera. Menos violencia temeraria para cualquiera. Brilla como una estrella en esta vida bella. Somos hermanos que borramos toda frontera.
Rumba, suena la bomba que traemos los soles.
Gimme some.
Esta penumbra que está que tumba, solo modo hardcore.
Hey, Charma, pasa mal ron. Smoking at the ear, beer with a bun. We no pop my lid that we no text no. Girl wine for me now, mulai no plow. But bitch they a but we no girl cloud. Run quick forward, bunny straight show. Up in your belly say me can't take it out. Can't test way dark, better just slow. Batman no ronca. No es mis pies al camisa, sino al camisa escolta. Monta la bicicleta, monta. Pussy girl, straight from Colombia. Wine and jiggle sobre meu tota l'estona. Santifico el teu punani des de l'Ebre fins a Osona. Monument a Empúria Brava, monument a Barcelona. Fem sonar l'alarma antiincendis de la zona. Charma, passa'm el ron. Smoking at the ear, beer with a bun. We no pop my lid that we no text no. Girl wine for me, mulla i no flow.
I see the girl them dancing a party smoker. Wine.
Give me the sense in your point, we won't take no coca.
Wine.
First, my friend, lady Paloma.
Wine.
Party turn up, shut a dance and soca.
Wine.
de esa gata ritual, porque el danzar la posee, de junta con de cristal, pero su IG no me lo sé. Luz de neón blanca nunca, lila como el pelo de Turanga, bossa blanca, suena bunga, no va guiar pa' que rompa.
Sabe que sube mi tensión, pero esa asesina no tiene corazón.
Sin one real bad, no va a guiar pa' que rompa. Vengo mal hasta el hueso, mi equipo está en eso y no hay vacantes. Nunca fue solo porque eso, del ritmo estoy preso, que no me falte. Venimos ready para que lo aguante. Puto Batman, quita de delante. Te vamos a dar la guillotina que aniquila como un murderer. Ey.
Turn up, that booty's on
fire. No queda tiempo de andar con vampire, don't stop.
Ajustate la malla.
Make them sweat sin estar en la playa, girl. Humo con sabor a papaya. Style y vaya donde vaya. Todos los dreadies van pa' allá. Scooby, reggaeton saltraya.
Y backshot to backshot, we tele to telele.
Esto no lo ves por la tele.
Corre, ve y dile a tu frenene. Vente que nadie te frene, tu nenene.
Sunscrews del Mediterráneo. Underground soterrani.
Then never run away, man, no entra el panic. Le da igual pa' el que se rani. Pasamos revista aquí como la milili.
Soundman del palo, wikilili.
Mr. Gran Campeón, nigga, cucape. Son lo que son y no
son unos wannabes.
I feel y'all them dancing a party smoker.
Wine, 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 wine.
Give me the sense in your point, we won't take no coca.
Wine, 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 wine.
First my friend, lady my lover.
Wine, 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 wine.
Party turn up, shut a dance and soca.
Wine, 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 wine.
¿Qué decir? Es puro flow underground, nigga. Check it out. Respect, nigga. Yeah, man, real bombo clock and I set the volume 8. This is the music from the my niggas. Yeah, man. Oh, ribby damn, ribby damn. Hey, hey. La 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 la. You man a tribute for Black Uhuru Ray. Hey, hey, hey. Broken microphone, mystic lover sound, a dream of soul. Will my head alone, living in Zion, but Babylon. Broken microphone, mystic lover sound, a dream of soul. Will my head alone, living in Zion, but Babylon. Por soñar soñé que todo cambiaría, por pensar pensé, luchar a sangre fría sin perder la fe, viviendo el día a día, más con sentimiento que marcó mi sinfonía. Darle pan al que no puede comer, darle bendición al que sepa renacer. 3000 errores solemos cometer, pero solo un gran hombre lo sabrá reconocer. Y me di cuenta hoy de tantas cosas, algunas crudas, otras bastante hermosas. Solo más sabios, personas poderosas, no aquellos bastardos que destrozan nuestras prosas. Es la perdición, mala situación de manchar tu corazón por tu mala acción. Dame una razón para darte mi perdón. Siento que tu alma se consume como el humor esteblón. Derramo poesía, arte mensajero que reclamo cada día. Pretendo ser sincero, más comparto mi alegría con todo caballero que mantenga la presión cuando andamos bajo cero. Sentimientos perdidos con calma, malos actos mancharon tu alma. No pide perdón quien dispara el arma, no sabe que un ladrón se bate con el karma. Broken microphone, mystic lover sound, a dream of soul. Real my head alone, living in Zion, but Babylon. Broken microphone, mystic lover sound, a dream of soul. Real my head alone, living in Zion, but Babylon. Wanna ganja respect from Volumen 8. My niggas on Volumen 8, this is Key on the studio respect. Alright. Bad boy kills, criminal of sound and rich. Money is a gun for me. Respect the nation. Below the time like this. Bad boy kills, criminal of sound and rich. Money is a gun for me. Respect the nation. Below the time like this. Bad boy kills, criminal of sound and rich. Money is a gun for me. Respect the nation. Oh, la 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 la. When I got just smoking from the studio of the on. And when I can just your nigga on the floor. When I live a sound. Oh them, ah. Bye bye rhythm, bye bye sound in
En la Plaza de Reyes, Black 50, Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber? ¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltomé. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flujo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber-Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tablet? Juro por mis abuelos que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por pico sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi bro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle tacoprón. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black Sheep, Black Sea Metal de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, Soplón.
Nero Luigi, man, desempeña en la victoria para que sepa. Incas Mo, Money Gang Gang, yeah. Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lele, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Está súper rafina la Dodo Style, metido en latina aprendiendo un quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Saliste ese peña aquí con una sella te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nadie la tenía, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, tiene que respetar. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Saliste ese peña aquí con una silla te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nada le doy, ya nada es igual. Tienes que respetar, si yo soy tu papá, Es Incas Mob, negro. Es Incas Mob, nigga. Nero Luigi, man. Incas Mob, It's Money Gang, gang, gang,
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under. Puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera.
desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito pa' que el mundo conociéramos. De esta parte mejor intérprete que parido de esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiempo pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Y a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clon del clon en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no soy el patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fe por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final Mbappé con la edad de bufón. De Young en la maldita casa, Plaza de Rey y papá. El Nero Luigi, Black Cimental, hip hop peruano, rasgo en la maldita base. Yao, yao, yao.
No tengo trono ni reina, ni nadie que me comprenda, pero sigo siendo el rey.
Oh yeah. Asesino. Kid Frost. Mi vida loca me vale poca. I keep them cuates on me, ese that's 2 pistolas. 3 parts pure, 1 part baking soda. Take it out the microwave before it bubble over. Hooters on a quota, look over your shoulders. I push weight box plays, I don't sling boulders. I make moves, the kind that move mountains. My voice echo thunder, the streets stay pounded. It's Guaquera, Tijuana, La Frontera. 17.5 and I pull it out my sweater. I'm DOC, duck or cover, yeah homes. Nobody does it better, I'm a mean go-getter. Glands of adrenaline, quick on my toes like I'm laced with a betterment. Seasoned rap veteran, I ain't got a floss. Every move that I make, let you know that I'm a boss. Asesino. Dice, mi barrio pesa, se llama Nesa. Puro pinche loco con tatuaje en la cabeza. No te metas en lo que no te interesa, porque el coyote está hambriento y está buscando presa. Sácate de esa maleza de la naturaleza. Vamos a hacer que la casa se ponga espesa. Si llego al estudio pego como Julio César. Aquí tus figuras tiemblan, alta destreza. Tengo gente que está metida en la empresa, que en la cara tienen a la muerte impresa. Están buscando poner el pan en la mesa, rifándose la limpieza o sacando la fresa. La mamá que reza porque el hijo no regresa. Ponte trucha porque te devoran si bostezas. Aquí andamos representando con fuerza para todos mis paisanos del West Side. Esta es mi ciudad, ¿dónde está mi pueblo? Apenas si me voy, quiero estar de nuevo. Que me digan dormido, si lejos me muero. Que me traigan aquí, me entierren en tu suelo. Te vas a quemar, vivimos en el fuego. No vas a aguantar las reglas del juego. Si soy lo que soy, es porque te tengo. Si estoy donde estoy, es por donde vengo. Cuando prenden el micrófono ya no me detengo. Saben lo que pretendo y el nivel que mantengo. Con el loop de Scoop, escupiendo un incendio. Hasta que Los Ángeles se vuelve el infierno. Andamos bien puestos, echándole el resto. A todo volumen con los vecinos molestos. Ritmos crudos, ritmos frescos. Para todos mis paisanos del West Coast.
¡Fuera! ¡Fuera! ¡Fuera, Yankees de América Latina!
Llegaron con promesas y banderas de libertad. Dejaron sangre, deuda y una falsa paz. Hablan de democracia desde un trono de acero, pero nuestras calles conocen su verdadero imperio. Robaron tierras, nombres, sueños y pan. Con dictadores firmaron la seguridad. Desde el norte mandan órdenes al sur, pero este pueblo ya perdió el miedo y alzó la luz. No somos patio trasero, no somos colonia más. se escribe en fuego y hoy la vamos a cambiar. ¡Fuera, yanquis de América Latina! Esta tierra no se vende, se camina. ¡Fuera, yanquis de América Latina! Nuestra voz no se silencia ni se inclina. ¡Fuera! 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 América Latina no se domina. América Latina no se domina. Países militares sobre pueblos sin voz. Corporaciones mandando más que Dios. Llaman ayuda al saqueo legal, pero la dignidad no la pueden comprar. Desde el río Bravo hasta la Patagonia, un mismo grito rompe la hegemonía. Indígena, obrero, estudiante y canción, somos millones latiendo en revolución. No somos su negocio, no somos su botín. Aquí manda la memoria de los que lucharon hasta el fin. ¡Fuera, yanquis de América Latina! Ni bloqueos ni balas nos arrodillan. ¡Fuera, yanquis de América Latina! Soberanía viva, libre y combativa. ¡Fuera! 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 América Latina no se domina. América Latina no se domina. No más mentiras, no más imperios sobre nuestras vidas. La patria es grande, la lucha también. Si tocan a uno, respondemos 100. ¡Fuera, yanquis de América Latina! Desde el barrio hasta la cordillera. ¡Fuera, yanquis de América Latina! Este continente ya decidió su bandera.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa Mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres